So you'll see the vignette. Some people like it, some people don't. I just want to explain how to use it. There are vignettes in other effects that you can get to in Premiere. You can actually use the masking to make a vignette shape however you want. But if you use this, I want you to understand how it works, because most of the time when I've seen people explain this on YouTube, they have no idea what they're talking about. So you have 4 sliders, and they go, well, look, you can do this is what you hear. You can control the amount. There's a midpoint you can play with, and they say that. Literally, that's how much information they give you. And they go, oh, you can make it rounder or squarer, and then, of course, softer and whatnot. Well, let's take a look at what really is happening. I'm going to go ahead, grab this, and take the feather all the way down to 0 so you can see the vignette. And I'm going to go ahead. If you bring it all the way to the right, you're making it lighter. Great for weddings and whatnot. All the way to the left, it's darker. Okay? So now you have a sense of what that slider does. Roundness, is it square? Is it a circle? Okay? So I generally, if I want to create a vignette, I want to know what it's covering. I want it to be on her. So I want to see it like this. Midpoint, which nobody ever explains, really could be called size. Okay? So here you can say what size it is. So now I've adjusted the size the way I want. I can start feathering it out. I can say, you know something, I don't want it to fall off that much. And now I can actually control the vignette knowing what my sliders are doing. So it's a real quick explanation. You can see what's happening. The downside why some people don't like this vignette is that it only works from the very center of the screen. And that's more of the way a lens would vignette. But a lot of times when you're color correcting, when you're grading, your goal is to say, oh, I want to focus the eye of the viewer on a certain area, and our eye is naturally drawn to the lightest part of the image. So I might put a vignette this way, which, as you can see, would be a little bit off center. So that's why some folks don't like doing a vignette that way. What I want to do is I want to talk about secondary color correction. And I have a little shot here, if I can find it quickly in the time that we have. Hit the Tab key. I'm going to go ahead. Shift-1 should bring me back to my project. Bring that full screen. Sequences. I know what I'm looking for. This little shot here. So I have the car driving. I want to change just the color of that car. That's what secondary color correction allows me to do. It allows me to isolate something either by its luminance value, its hue, or its saturation. That's exactly why it's called an HSL secondary. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I get this interface. And what I can do is with these eyedroppers, I can select the color that I want to work with. So I touched that, and it actually selected that red based upon its hue, saturation, and luminance values. If I want to see what was really selected, I click this little button here, color gray, and I can see what it selected, which wasn't very much. And I can look at this 3 different ways. Color in gray, color in black, or what I usually like is just black and white. This is the mask. So I can go back here and I can add, with the plus button, more areas of red in the car until I can get almost the whole car. And I'm kind of doing this kind of fast and furious here, but we're not doing a bad job. I'm guessing it's starting to look like a car. Overshot a little bit there. Go to the minus key and try to bring out some of that. Okay, so let's say that's the car, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and off, and if I want to look at color gray. So I kind of have the car, sort of. There's a couple other tweaks I can do. I can say, you know something? It's a red car. I don't really care how the hue of the red, and I could say, oh, what if I just ignore that? Well, obviously, it's going to show other areas. What about saturation levels? No, that doesn't help me either. But in some cases, like maybe I can turn off and say ignore the luminance values, and it will give me a cleaner key. In this case, this is probably the best I'm going to get. Don't know what, I just killed something there. There we go. Come on, come back, and oh, I probably reset this. The joy of teaching. Live. We'll grab that. I was doing, oh, I bet I could have hit undo. But then as you start panicking, because people are watching, so everybody close their eyes, they'll be a lot quicker. You out there in Australia, I saw you peeking. Okay, and then I overshot here. So just to do this quickly, I want to make sure. So I have basically this red car, and I'm going to go to black and white. If I wanted to, see there I can see what the overlap is. And there's a couple problems that I'm going to be facing here. First of all, there are other red areas around here that I don't want to change the color of. The second thing is that, you know, there might be some speckles here. So what I want to do is I want to refine this mask. I'm going to do a little bit of denoising. That takes away some of the really small little speckles as it plays. A little bit goes a long way. And I may blur it a little bit just so that, you know, you don't have the edges. So once I've been able to get this, I can go ahead. I'm going to just show the original. And now I can go ahead and use this correction box to change the color of the car. I can either do it globally. So now I have one big area. And I can say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and bring it more into the, add blue to it. So now we get more of a purple car. Okay? I could do that way. I can also hit this little button here. And now I get 3 color wheels. So I can actually work with changing the color in the highs, the mids, and the lows. Okay, so I can really focus on how I want to change the color of this car. And I'm kind of going a little fast and furious here. That's close enough. But it is changing the color of some of the other things around it, including me, who suddenly has a blue face because I don't want a blue face. All right, I'll keep a blue face. It's actually more work. Close enough. In the final, you'll see it's perfect with the time we have. So now I have my correction. I could actually brighten up elements if I wanted to. Again, brighten it, darken it. So I have this multicolored car. Instead of the red car, it's blue and pink. And if I play it, it tracks it because it's really dealing with the color. Okay? But if I wanted to isolate this, I can do that. And this is something very useful. I can do that with a mask. And if you're familiar with all the other effects, every effect comes with a mask. You can't see it here, but as I said at the beginning, the Lumetri panel is basically the Lumetri effect right there. And I can go ahead and I can go to the beginning and find the car. There it is. We'll just take it from there when it's fully in frame. I'm going to grab a mask, move the mask over the car. So you see right now that the only thing getting color changed is the car, because I'm just masking it out. Okay, now if I hit play, the car will drive out of my mask and I'll be upset. But if I go here and I press this little play button, Premiere, if it's good, should have followed my mask. Stop it. Bad. It missed it. Doesn't even want to do the stop button. Car is out of control. It won't stop. Okay, so it drove out. Obviously, I did a horrible job selecting. I'm going to pick it up from right there, maybe make my mask a little bit bigger. It's dealing with contrast. I love the fact that I did this. We're about to wrap time, but I can go back, pick it up from there. It's trying. If it falls out, come on, you can stop. It must know it's almost time to stop. But tracking with the mask is really useful. It just absolutely went crazy. But if I do like a face, I can do skin tone. We saw that. And I can isolate just one area, just one color, and I have a lot of control. And in a nutshell, that's how you can use color correction in Premiere Pro.